Welcome to Thursday. It's September 28th, 2023, your day weather podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily, Wyoming's only statewide newspaper. Get your free digital subscription by hitting the subscribe button at cowboystatedaily.com. Well, as you know, we haven't had a lot to talk about, and at least here for another day or two. That's kind of how it's going to go. Today's going to be another beautiful September day. Hopefully, folks have been outside and been able to get the changing fall colors of the mountains against that deep blue sky. The blue grouse, though, thanks, Carl, for sending that in. The blue grouse may be going uphill here soon. We'll talk about that here in a moment. In the meantime, just enjoy the weather. You will notice it getting a little bit cooler in western Wyoming today. Parts of Utah and Idaho will be a little bit cooler as this Pacific trough is settling in out of the Pacific Northwest into the Great Basin, spreading in some cooler temperature readings. Now, it's going to be the western areas that have the best chance for showers and the cooler temperatures in the coming days, especially central and western Montana, western Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, the Pacific Northwest, back into California, Nevada, parts of western Colorado. You're going to go into those areas with cooler, cloudier conditions and some showers. But east of the divide, it's going to still stay warm until late in the weekend and in towards the middle of next week as some of that cooler air moves out of the basin and across the divide and on into the plains. And the number of nice days we have are numbered, especially just this extension of summer that we're enjoying right now. The writing is on the wall, and we'll show you that here in a minute. This is a satellite photo from late yesterday afternoon. Like I did earlier in the week, I just wanted to show you how clear the skies are and also how neat our new satellites are, and in terms of how much we can see with resolution. But you can see all across the Intermountain West, we just have a lot of high pressure, just a lot of sunshine and clear skies. Clouds up here in the Pacific Northwest with that low. As we see that low just north of Vancouver there, it is going to push a little bit of cooler air across Montana in the Dakotas and northern Wyoming today. Places like Sheridan and Gillette and Billings, you're going to be a little bit cooler. You may have a few showers, but ahead of that trough, this yellow arrow representing winds aloft coming up out of the southwest. That's desert air. So the warm temperatures you're going to see are going to be right here along and east of the divide, as this low is just going to be very slow moving. So you're going to see temperatures like this today. A little bit cooler along the I-90 corridor, cool back into the Pacific Northwest, but very warm for September along and east of the divide. And between now and Friday morning, just a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity favoring the northern areas. Up here, northern Wyoming into South Dakota, Montana, you're going to see a little bit of shower activity, but nothing to write home about. Now, as we get into the weekend, the low is going to move south into California, this yellow arrow representing a warm southerly flow out ahead of it. So you're going to continue to be warm at the beginning of the weekend along and east of this black line, cooler west of this black line underneath that low pressure system. And it takes several days. This is Saturday, and this is not until Tuesday before the trough weakens, but then starts to push through. So by Monday and into Tuesday, you're going to cool off here. You're going to see some clouds, and you're going to get some shower activity as what's left of the trough kind of splits into two pieces and then finally moves on through. So it's not going to be anything major, but it is going to bring a change in the weather late in the weekend towards the early to middle parts of next week to the region. Then when we look at precipitation through Thursday, you can see that as that trough moves through, there's going to be a bit more in the way of showers getting into the central Rockies, some out into the plains as well. Some heavier shower and thunderstorm activity may develop across parts of New Mexico and West Texas. And look at California getting into the mix as well, with some shower activity even into Nevada, into the Wasatch Front of Utah, and down around Lake Powell. Snowfall-wise, well, it's going to be cold enough that snow levels will drop. This is not going to be a big snow event. I think the Sierras could get a good several inches of snow out of this. The Uintas, some of the high Wasatch, even the southwest mountains of Colorado. So as we get into the weekend, into early next week, snow levels will drop a bit into the high country, so hunters keep that in mind. Now, this is taking us out further. This is a week from this coming Friday. We have a robust high that really wants to stay there now in the eastern Pacific. So the jet stream has got to go up, around, and down. This is a classic configuration of wanting to let colder air out of the higher latitudes to drop south. If we see this configuration, and I think we will, we also have another little wave right here lined up behind it. This is a cold signal right here, and it's about time. We're kind of late to have this happen, but sometimes these happen a little bit later, but it's coming. So as we get into the first weekend of October, we're going to see this wave of colder air come in, and this is by a week from this coming Friday. Much colder air will pour down, not only west of the divide, but I think east of the divide. They've all been going west of the divide down here, but this should take more of a track to the east-southeast from what we're seeing. This will lead to a big cool down, and these are the forecasted low temperatures by next Saturday morning. Not this coming Saturday, but the following one for the morning of the 7th. So you can see freezing temperatures just about everywhere. We'll see what happens, but I do think this is finally the cold front that's going to kick us into fall for good and bring it into this really nice stretch of weather that we're enjoying now. Have yourself a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow.